So the time is now 6:30, so we will call this meeting to order. If you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with roll call.
Sean Peterson.
Amy Smith.
Virginia Allen.
Stephanie Walsh.
Lisa Carey.
Kevin Kader.
So next on our agenda would be accepting minutes from the April 1st, 2026 meeting. Did anyone have any comments, questions on that?
I just see number 4, it says 318 minutes and not 325.
Oh, and we approved both of them last week, the 18 and 25.
Fix that.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to fix that. Anyone else have any? Okay. So we look for a motion to approve with the adjusted through 18 and through 25 for last week.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the next reason we're here tonight is the presentation of the town department heads of proposal fiscal budget 2026 to 2027.
Good evening, everybody. There we go. Whoa. Hi, everybody. So, about a month and a half ago, everyone got the complete budget presentation. You have your budget binders as well as the budgets online. I made a condensed version just to try to expedite it a little bit for this evening, as well as I will present for all the department heads. We'll go through each department, but department heads are here if you do have individual questions. So overall, our budget, the town budget, is an increase of 2.72%. That equates to about $350,000. What I try to do whenever I make any budget is I try to keep under the Social Security COLA, and that's 2.8%, so we're right at that line. Also with our budget, we are proposing a decrease in the mill rate. So your mill rate will go down. In addition, we say the budgeted fund balance would be still at right under the 20%, 19.71, which is at the higher point of the guideline of the policy that you guys just approved of 15 to 20%. So overall, you do have a concrete budget. We're in a great starting place, no matter what we decide to do collectively as a group. And when we do this budget presentation, it's great to have these conversations, and it's okay for us to disagree, as long as we respect each other and we can come to a conclusion together. Let's have a solid budget for our taxpayers to vote on. All right, so this is just a summary snapshot of a regular budget presentation. You've got the CT data, you've got your fiscal indicator reports. There's a lot of information out there in the web, and so I wanted you guys to have that. But this just summarizes everything. Our rating of A3, we had 190 businesses, population of slightly over 15,000. One thing I didn't do in the first one was take the top 3 highest increases and the highest decreases. So obviously the biggest one that we've all talked about is the ambulance services. Purchase services went up $241,000. I know I'm sure we will have discussions on that. I've had many individual discussions on that, but that is going to be the biggest point for the town budget. That increase is $170,000 over $350,000. Insurance and benefits, I'm sure you've all heard by now, each is dissolving. The town and Board of Ed has signed on with the state benefit plan. We're in the very preliminary stages of that, but we do expect an increase, so we're putting about 12% for that. Once we get the actual numbers in, because we have to do an open enrollment, we'll see where we actually lie. In addition, we'll find out where we end up at each of. It's going to take a full year for that to dissolve. And if there's any funds that were additional, we've already cleared it with the auditors. It can just go right back into our general fund.
Lisa, are you looking for any kind of concessions from the state? I don't know that they would do that. They don't.
No, they don't.
Any kind of concessions at all?
They make no concessions whatsoever. And actually, their rates are comparable to what we were paying before Egypt. The 2021 rates are actually matching almost within $5 in some of them for the plan that they're offering. The difference is with the high deductible plan, the rates are lower because you have that HSA. You know, for a family, the first $4,000 is paid out of pocket. We're no longer going to have that, so we won't have an HSA for people. So there's obviously union negotiations we need to do. Very, very preliminary stages, but just so you know, we are very actively concerned with it. We're working with the state and the Board of Ed and the town are working together. And we value our employees. We want to retain our employees because they're our biggest asset. So that's what's going on with insurance. So insurance I put up at 124. That actually could be over depending if we get any money back from Egypt, but I won't know that until we go through almost the entire end of the fiscal year. They're not going to close out till August 2027. We have benchmarks in July as well as October where they want to maintain a certain retainage for runoff, which is typical for anything. Just think about when your insurance claims, sometimes your doctors send them out later. So we'll be going through that. And that'll also be part of our forecast. I'll keep you guys abridged to that as we do our monthly forecast for every meeting. Capital expenses, that went up $95,000. That's mostly due for state road aid. We can't change that. The state gives us town road aid, and that's part of the reason why I want to create that as a separate fund. It shouldn't be part of our operating budget. It's not anything that the taxpayers can vote on. It's mandated by the state, what it can be used for in the funds coming in. Going to the largest decreases. This is a great one. A debt principal, we had a note paid off, guys. That saved us $325,000 compared to last year. So we are down to one note in the town, which is amazing. We're also going to save almost $50,000 for engineering. We've changed from a staff to a consultant. That doesn't even take into account for health insurance benefits either. So there's one less person on the health insurance. VOIOP, general town, phone changed over, so that's $23,000. So I tried to at least summarize it a little bit for you just by doing the top three, increase and decrease. This is your total departmental expenses. Before you guys used to have this like one sheet that only showed budget, budget, budget. I personally prefer to have actuals because if you have budget and budget and budget, if you spend $100,000 every year in the budget, you never know if you come in at $50,000, $80,000, $120,000. So I think having the actuals there is important for you guys to see as well. So as you can see, we've got the 23-24 budget, actuals, same with 24-25, and then 25-26. And then we have as a half-year actuals, instead of updating it as half-year, because this way it's a good benchmark 6 months halfway through. Proposed budget, dollar change, and percentage change. I know this is some that people have been asking me about. Why are the elected officials gone up so much? So I actually turned around and did a salary survey. That one's bigger. It's in your thing. The selectmen's at 94, town clerk and tax collector at 85, and the register is at 27. In CCM, you can actually go in and access a lot of what the salaries are. So the ones that say actual are from CCM, and the other ones they just went to town budgets, right on their website.
What is CCM?
Conference of Connecticut Municipalities. It's actually Connecticut Conference of Municipalities.
Thank you.
You're welcome. To get that, you have to input all of your salary information, and this way they turn around and share it. So this is try to make it a little bigger. So the ones in yellow are like at least comparable to our population, and that's what I tried to do. Just so you can see, because I know people are asking about it. As I said, we want to retain our employees, and I also know there's been charter talks. Do we want to switch it over to a town manager? So I thought it was important that you guys saw what town managers were making in all the surrounding towns with comparable populations. We do have the tax collector, the town clerk, and the first selectman here, if you'd like to address them in regards to the salary increase as well.
So my only comment, I think, would be they're comparable in population, but they're not necessarily comparable in home values, especially.
Well, I didn't even put Wyndham on there. That town manager makes $190,000 a year.
Well, this is, yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I didn't go to those extremes. I tried to keep it like, we're complex to the degree that we have 4 different districts, the schools are everywhere. We have the fire districts that are separate. So we're unique in our own way, but we like it that way. So those are just different examples. We can run through everything, and then if you have specific questions, we can have the elected officials come up. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, do you want us to ask questions now or wait till the end?
I'm open to anything. I mean, as I said, we've been working on this since January, so we.
You guys more comfortable with wait till the end or ask? That's not.
All right, come on up, guys. Yes, all elected, because you guys all have the same increase across the board.
You got questions? My biggest thing is, in July of 2024, the department heads, every department head got an increase between $3,000 to $5,000 in their contract. Their contract was signed in the middle of July, so no one saw those big raises. You only saw that they got 1.5%. We do not get that. We did not get that. So we have always been behind, because either we're forgotten about or no one asked.
And now, didn't you and Diane also propose to me a freeze on your raises last year, the year before?
Last year, we got the 3.5%.
Okay.
3.5%. But last year was a tough budget season too.
Right.
We were advocates of not raising the mill rate, not raising people's tax.
Right,
Right.
I remember that.
That was a concern still is today, that always was a concern.
But my biggest thing is, we both took office and we cut a person out of our office.
Right.
We are working supervisors. I work straight with my assistant, who is 110%, we do everything together. She can take over for me, I can take over for her, obviously. Diane, the same way. We cut a whole person out of our office. No other office can say that.
Now, my other question is, in your education and certification and training is continuously ongoing, am I correct in that?
Absolutely, yes, we have to be certified.
Right.
I mean, there's some departments that don't have to be certified, nothing, and I make $400 more than them, which is absurd.
Right.
Look at the budget, I'm not gonna call that department out, but to me, it just blows my mind,
Yeah.
because we have to stay certified.
We're mandated to attend, a lot of training, a lot of meetings. We're meeting with I meet with the Secretary of State every month. Next week, we're away at a conference and that's general statutes, like we can't get around this.
Right.
Come July, I'll be at a university for a week, attending a whole week worth of training for the clerk's position. And I do hold many college degrees as well. So we're highly educated, lots of certifications under my belt. But I do, if you look at where we're falling internally, we're very far behind all the other department heads.
Just internally.
Now, is that because of the way that the contracts?
Right, and
Well,
their
like,
contract
yeah.
wasn't settled until the middle of July of 2024.
Okay.
So they all got between $3,000 to $5,000 raise, plus they got the 1.5% on top of that. So we did not get nothing. We didn't get that.
Okay.
So if you look at
That
all
helps
department
us
heads,
to know that.
compared to our two, we're behind the ball.
Okay, so it's just your department?
Well, I don't know how Kevin is, I don't know how Kevin is.
The two of us were very, very low compared to everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
If you remember, we came to you last, was it 2 years ago, we asked.
yeah, but that was way too late.
Right. And there was also the issues of, like, there's certain years over the past 20 years where we actually have freezes. And those freezes affect your compounded earnings later on. So I think there's been 6 freezes over the last 24 years. And that affects everybody.
I see.
There were, I can't remember if there were 6. So that's one of the other reasons I think it's important to understand, the ask. We have come to you before asking for those raises, especially 3 years in a row. One mistake that it's too late. There was 1 year, 2020. We had normally in previous years, prior to 2020, we had met with the Board of Finance they said, okay, well, we agree with the 3% raise and we put the 3% in. I'm just using a number. But then 2020, they didn't do that.
We didn't get it,
No raise at all.
they forgot.
So this is, again, the compounding effect of what you're looking at is a request now.
So it looks huge, I get it. If I saw that, I'd be like, what the heck? I totally agree. But if you look at, just look at internally what everyone's making compared to me and Diane, it's just not right.
And
Really not right.
they're actually correct. They're doing more with less.
I
You
work
used to
more
have-
hours now than I did when I was a union worker. I work a lot more hours than when I was a union worker.
So years ago, you used to have a third person, a part-time, but you
Third
don't
person,
use that.
yep, third person and a part-time, I don't
Yep.
need and one other.
And you had 3.
Yeah, I had a big staff, and it's just the two of us, but same thing, like, she could take that office over, we work hand in hand, and so there's nothing that she's not trained in as Karen's office, so we have a very good, working relationship with our assistants, and we're able to get by, but we are saving the town full-time employees, benefits, insurance, all of those things, that got cut, and will not be replaced.
Not to mention the other side of it. You see what the numbers are, but you should see what's in their offices. Because I'm telling you, what they've done for cleanup in their offices, you have a person standing in front of you who has a model for the state of Connecticut for a clerk's office. People talk about how she's cleaned it up, minimized the space in there, so you have a lot more area to utilize. So she's thought this all through, and she's doing it with just herself and one other person. So I asked if you would please take the time to come take a look at these offices, because now we have other offices. I'll give you one example.
I don't understand.
Yeah. But you have, I think you did the police presentation. He was asking for money for storage for records. You're taking that model after what you did. So it's important to understand that they're not only asking for an increase of a certain size, but they're also doing more with less.
The liability factor on both of our shoulders too, when it comes to the town, is huge, I'm holding everything that's possible in the town, every property, all the legal aspects of an election, it's all on my shoulders. What do you put?
Over 30 million.
So, the liability factor is huge for what we
Any other questions?
I just had a question. I just want to say, you guys are amazing and you do a lot for this town. And I was just curious, do you get any type of reimbursement or anything for all the training or any rate? Like, is that come out of your pocket? for
Yeah,
that?
mileage.
Yeah.
We pay for obviously our training, the town.
But the town pays for
Yeah.
that? Okay.
But again, we don't get like all the 6 times people get, we don't get paid out for anything.
We don't get stipends for the college degrees that we have, where you do see that in the budget.
Yeah, that's what I was curious if
No,
there was
we don't
anything
get
like that
any of
for you.
No, and as far as my degrees are very relevant to my work. But no, there's no stipends for any of that.
Basically salary.
Yes, we are salary, straight salary. So when you see us here after hours, when you see us next Friday, I'll be in a class, we don't work Fridays. Many Fridays during election, I'm mandated to be here, and whenever the absentee ballots are available, that means I'm working Fridays. It's state mandated, I have to check that ballot box. If one of the union employees came in, they would be getting paid 2 hours overtime, mandatory. I just have to come. So there's no additional pay or anything like that for us when you see us here after business hours, our hours we're here when we need to.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Also, as a side note, if you tried to change this to an appointed position, it would cost you a lot more money to get something. So I'm not going to get in the elephant out of the room, right? Thank you. All right, so we'll move on. This is now in alphabetical order. Once again, I'll remind you guys that our budget is only an increase of 2.72%, $354,000 in total. Animal control, it's pretty much, she increased an assistant from 20 to 25 hours, and I did have someone ask me, thank you, they're like, that's a lot of money for one person. There's also a cleaner in there for about $15,000 a year. So when you see the salary is part-time, it's one considered full-time equivalent, but it's 2 part-time people. All right, should I just...
It should say 2 instead of 1.
Well, no, it can't because it's full-time equivalent employees. Like, I could put 2 PT for 2 part-time.
Okay.
So when we do the total FTEs,
Do we know if
Because it says salaries, part-time workers, 1.
it just goes down at the bottom, it's the two. But I can change it to, I mean, we can put that whatever we want. This is the Excel sheet, so
Yeah.
I can change that to reflect two part-time.
Transparent, somebody else is looking at this, they would be able to say, oh, that's 2 people, not 1.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm a little concerned that there's no money in the budget, in her budget whatsoever for vet fees. Do we know, do vets?
Comes out of the dog fund, whatever money she takes there. She has a separate fund as well, the dog fund.
Okay.
So that also comes out of there.
Okay.
And as we start to get everything cleaned up, you guys are also going to be getting fund balances for all the funds, because I'm going to be starting to close them next year. There's some funds that have been open that we don't utilize that I'd like to put that money back in the general fund. So, and that's all going to be hand in hand when it comes to the new software. And right now, that tentative live date is September 1st. I spent most of the day preparing that. So we are going to see a lot more transparency and more coming on. You guys are going to be like, oh my God, Lisa, how much paperwork are you giving me? But you're going to know the balance of every single one of these funds, because right now, it's all over the place.
So what's the balance in the fund account right now?
The dog fund's minimal. It's not even like 20 grand. It's very minimal. It might even be closer to 10, 20 if more of the rec. But that's for most of that. That's what you were looking for that. The assessor, pretty straightforward, contractual obligations in both salary as well as QDS. We have the revaluation correspondence, $7,800 increase, 2.93%. Move on.
What is the reevaluation correspondence?
Reevaluation correspondence.
So we're going to be starting our revaluation. We're going to be starting revaluation August, September of this year. Everybody in town, all the residents, will receive a letter just letting them know that we're starting the revaluation process and what to look for, and who to contact if you have any questions.
We're trying to increase communication in every department and in every way. As you can see, in that last time, we're getting more boards together, more communication among departments and with you guys.
So that'll be the money for like the postage for that.
Printing,
together.
putting all
Okay.
together. Yeah.
Thank you for the information.
Oh, you're welcome.
And the $5,000 increase in the appraisals audit?
You make money off of audits. You want that. It's about a 120 to 1 return. Audits on personal property. Let's turn around when you audit companies and you take a look at their financials to see if they're declaring correctly on their declarations.
So that's specifically for companies, it's not individuals?
Correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
So what you're seeing in this budget is that we took the property audit and the appraisals and we combined it and actually lowered it. So if you added the two last year together, it would have been 20,000. This year it's 15,000. We added them two together so we could, it gives me more room of what I can focus on. If I need more money for appraisals, I can use it for appraisals. If I want to do an audit, it gives me a little bit more room to audit. So that's why you're seeing those two combined.
Okay. Boards and commissions.
I have one question. So the salaries for the assessor is 2 full-time?
Yes. 3 total. 2 assistants and 1 full-time department head.
Okay.
So there's 3 total. See down the bottom which says FTEs, it's full-time equivalent employees. And those are all contractual, that's all union positions. Boards and commissions kept flat except for Board of Selectmen, because they were running a little higher.
What is that?
That is like your minutes that get done, you know how you pay.
Okay.
All right, moving along, building and grounds. He kept everything flat, with the exception, what we want to do is we want to clean up like the sidewalks more, where, you know, he's spending a lot more time in cemetery. There's more gardens up there. There's a lot more weed whacking than there used to be years ago. So we did have a part-time this year, and we want to increase that to a full-time position. So that's the major increase in there. That's that 19,000. So it's increased the part-time person to full-time to make 4 FTEs in total.
And the rest of that would be 3% contractual increases?
Exactly.
get any health benefits
No.
from the town? Only, so only if you go.
Only if you're full-time. You're welcome. Okay,
Do you
building.
think our electricity is gonna be okay? I mean, we're keeping the same numbers? Same thing for the.
37? Ron, your electricity?
I don't deal with electricity, I couldn't tell you.
We've been running fine so far. I mean, look at where we are year to date now, at the 7. I think we'll be okay.
That's pretty natural.
Yeah. We're gonna be watching all utilities anyway, but this past winter, everything's been hard. But it was an extraordinary winter, as we all know.
And this year we're under par.
In the actuals you have on here that you get it right at half, right? So we should be able to.
Yeah, that's why
on
it
those
says-
things, just be able to double it.
Exactly, that's why it says 12/31/25.
Yeah, so that seems like we can.
Try to make it easier, because like you do it in like January or February, people are like, how do you?
Yes, yeah, that's great.
I have a question.
Ask away.
Under finance, it seems like every year finance spent their budget except for,
We're not on finance, honey, we're on building and ground.
oh, I thought we were on fourth, well, can we go back to fourth?
All right, boards and cut, okay. So, Board of Finance,
Yeah, it says, evidently Judy spent this money every year except for this year.
well, you spent 600, which is about right, you figure it's $100 a meeting. And you're at 600.
But the proposed budget is 37, and if you go back, we've been over three.
Depends on how many meetings you end up having due to budgets meeting over and over again. You had 4 referendums last year.
Okay.
Good?
I'll go with both.
You can go anywhere you'd like to. All right, so we covered building and ground. Building inspector, this is an interesting one, but this is a concept that I think will actually work. Supply and demand with some municipal positions is ridiculous. You can't get a building inspector anywhere. And our building inspector works a zillion hours, does many things. He's had to deal with a person lately that's taken a lot of his time. In addition, look at all the construction that has happened here. You've got the Amazon, you've got the U-line. We also have a part-time contractor, Rick, who helps us out a lot. We have someone that's willing to go to school and work for us that I think would be advantageous not only to help our building official, building inspector now, but if it ever becomes a point where we feel that we don't need another full-time person, not only do we have the backup if our existing building inspector comes sick, other towns will want them. Shared services does not have to be only through NECOG, guys. If we have trained people on our staff, why can't the town make money? So my idea is start them off part-time, see where they're at, and I can assure you that there are many towns in Tall and Windham County that are looking for building inspectors all the time. So this is more of a concept idea. We do have someone willing to start as a part-time, but this is only part-time.
So what are you suggesting, the assistant inspector is a new position, that's the part-time inspector?
That is correct. Add a part-time person in training. That is absolutely correct. It'll help out with the residential permits as well, because that's where you start. This way it allows.
Who's gonna pay for all this training?
Oh, we are. It's included in the budget.
I have to be honest, a 6.09% increase for the department head does not sit well. It's not that I don't respect what they do. My husband's a master carpentry, actually has a building inspector license from Florida. I know what has to be done, but 6.9%, I wish my employer would have given me that. That's a lot.
If you turn around and left, you would have no one in the position, and then we wouldn't be having COs, we wouldn't be increasing tax bills, we wouldn't have the construction we have. There really is a huge demand and a lack of supply of building inspectors.
And I get that, but is it a contracted position?
He's in the union.
He is union, so the union contracts for 3%, correct?
This was a little different. He was asking, this was a little different because he was asking for more money. He'll be back at that 3% in the next contract.
Is that guaranteed?
Yeah.
Why the increase to 6%?
Because he was somebody we really needed, And he negotiated to have that increase for last year and this year.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. His raise, as far as the union, is 3%, but he's asking for an additional 3%.
He had already contracted for that extra money.
Oh, you already contracted for that?
Yep. The idea, like you were mentioning, Lisa was mentioning, finding someone to fill a position like that is extremely difficult. There are 75 towns that don't have somebody full-time, they have part-time, and they share from, one of our retired building inspectors works in Canterbury. We have Rick, who will be retiring from us soon. He's also working in Voluntown. The reason why you find people who are going part-time to other towns is because they don't have anybody. So it's an important thing to have and hold. And I thought that was a reasonable trade-off to keep him here, and he does work a lot of hours, and does a lot. That's why we're looking for someone else to come in part-time. So I thought it was reasonable to do, and that's why it's 6%.
And it's also succession planning if Rick decides to completely retire. So, but I want to keep the options open, and that's why I wanted you guys to know, because if we do feel that we don't need other services, I can guarantee you I can find a town that would want to pay for a building inspector.
How many hours a week is this part-time inspector going to be working for $64,000 a year?
We've got it at $35 an hour.
And how many hours a week is
So I
it?
think we put in at 20, 25.
Plus we're paying,
I'd have to look at
plus
it.
we're paying the educator.
Yes,
How much is that costing the training and education?
very minimal. What did the training go up? We've got $3,000 in there. We increased it by 500.
Seems like a sweetheart deal to me.
Well, you have your succession plan and it keeps the town going. I mean, I don't want to stop the construction, I don't want to stop COs, I don't want the assessor to not increase values and send out tax bills for them to collect its money for the town. And we really don't want people complaining, you know, I can't get my CO because the building inspector hasn't come out in 3 weeks and I haven't heard from him.
And all the money we're getting in from permit fees.
Yeah, permit fees too, yeah, permit fees are through the roof. So, we figured this was a good way. It's a combination of succession planning as well as it gives us opportunity to have future additional revenue. Municipalities are always looking for additional revenue sources besides taxation.
So we're guaranteed though that he's not gonna come back to us next year and ask for another.
No, the
over
other
and
six?
above.
No. Because they did an MOA on it, or MOU? MOU,
You
memorandum of
got a
understanding.
33% increase in that budget.
It is. But what's your rate of return on it?
There's no other department in this town that's doing that. I've seen it simply.
But you're gonna get it in the revenues. Never mind, you're gonna get tax revenues and building permit revenues. Do you wanna say something? That's it. I mean, this is about communication.
Yeah, we got rid of an assistant a couple of years ago, an assistant building official, and this, so we went, what, 1-2 years without one, and now we're saying we really need it. We have some big projects going on in the town of Plainfield that it's needed. If I don't get those COs, I can't add that assessment, and we can't bill for it.
Yeah, I can back that up as a town planner. I work hand in hand with the building inspector, and he is completely swamped.
You look at his budget this year. 225,000 is what he's asking for. Last year was 168. The year before was 148, and the year before that was 167. That's a huge increase.
But you're adding some,
Yeah, we've got a lot.
What do you think the offset to that would be in terms of income? Is there any kind of projection?
And what happens when all that
Well, it all
work
depends.
goes
If we
down?
have someone retire, then it won't be. It'll just be replacing a part-time for a part-time and then the money goes back. But, you know, I mean, what can we outsource it as?
No. I'm saying if you're thinking that we can offset some of these costs, the 33% increase in the department budget by more COs, more application fees, any thoughts to how much of that 33% might be offset? Is that just too far gone of a?
No, it's also too
nebulous?
preliminary right now. We'd see it more next year versus this year. Like this year would be more of a training. He's going to start off with residential. You know, if Costco comes in, that's going to be where he's going to be spending a lot of his time, and so the assistant has to maintain the residential. You know, you've seen it so far this year in all the building permit fees. Those have been up tremendously year over year. It's an investment into the department for the town. then that's what you guys have to decide if you want to buy into that.
I think where the issue comes in, Lisa, is not so much that we're not hearing and understanding that. We also are accountable to the residents. And 6%, 9%, 13% increases in raises is not palatable to people who are 55 to 57% below poverty in their economy. And oil prices have gone up, and gas prices, and food prices. So we just want to be able to understand.
Very fair. I hear it. I'm a single mom. I hear it wholeheartedly. That's why we have the mill rate going down.
And it's concerning to me that we're finding out, or at least I've attended budget seasons for years, and I'm finding out now that we have staff that didn't receive raises when other departments did. And I don't remember the public residents being made aware of that until tonight.
And that already makes this meeting a much better meeting.
Yeah. So the board, providing us does need to know that, the public needs to know stuff like that. But yeah, we have to ask these questions and understand it so we can go back to the residents and explain it to them. Because not everyone out there is getting 6% raises this year. Probably more than likely none of them. So please understand our position in that. We have to explain that.
Nothing to do with.
This is not personal.
Right, exactly.
This is a business in essence. This is what we're running. You guys are here to maintain the finances of the town. These are not dumb questions. This is exactly what we want because we want the open communication.
Our biggest problem too is the fact that the selectmen's already entered into contracts with the department head, so we're stuck with that number. So that's an issue.
Well, we're going to see that more in the forecast. That's why we have them. Move on.
Yes, we have no choice. We'll beat a dead horse at this point.
I will not on the other part-time person. So you can decide not to do that if you don't want to do the succession planning or the growth and the potential revenue.
I just don't think the contract should be entered into like that without the Board of Finance awareness and approval.
I don't know when that MOA was done. Do you, Kevin?
I take a look at that.
I'm sorry, I believe it was done prior to my working for the town. Let's see. Economic development, that's the same thing. She recently got a raise mid-year.
And is going to get another almost 8% for next year?
She got a mid-raise year this year, and so it's 3% on what she's making now. This one I did know about. This one got a bump to $80,000.
How is this happening? Explain this to us.
I know. How much money does this grant writer bring in?
I will bring that over to Kevin.
Okay.
Does a lot, but I don't have to have it now.
I can get you a list of all the things that she's brought in the past, but we're talking about the millions of dollars. We're talking about the $8 million grant that we got for Inter-Royal Mill. We have the application for the $6 million to complete the brownfield cleanup on that, so that should be known by the end of the month. I would think that those two alone should be able to justify the fact of what she's doing. But I can get you a full list if you like.
I'd love to see that. Just curious.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm not.
And what justifies the raise mid-year?
The union requested it, and they sat down to negotiate it.
It was a union negotiated raise?
Yes.
Increase?
I think that moving forward, we will be highlighting these in our.
They should be highlighted. This is our budget estimate.
Yeah.
We're responsible for this budget in the end. And he's making changes to it. It's like,
Certainly, if you'd like.
I'll speak on that raise because I am the vice president of the union. This was a negotiated raise due to added responsibilities. She took on some responsibilities for the finance office. I believe that was back under Kelly when she was here. In addition to just getting, funds, grant funds, the grant writer also takes advantages all the accounts. So anytime that we have a project going on, she keeps track of all the paperwork. She communicates with the state. She goes back and forth with all of them. So So she also facilitates the management of the grants, not just getting the money. So that is why it's negotiated through the union.
I do. What other responsibilities did she take on for finance?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't part of that, but she has taken on some responsibilities under Kelly.
She does all the helping.
Are you talking about making sure that the grants are dispersed correctly and known? So I don't understand what that financial piece would be to grant writing.
And like for the housing loan?
No, so as far as the grant writing goes, after you're awarded a grant.
I know, I wrote grants.
Okay, so then you know comes the project.
Yep.
And you have to manage the entire project, start to finish.
Mhm.
That is one of the things that she does, is a lot of paperwork, a lot of time. And that was not part of her initial responsibilities.
I still have an issue with a mid-year without any notification and then an additional 3%. I'm not dissing what she does and what money she brings in. I'm looking at the overall effect on mill rates, and mill rates are one thing, frankly, but when you look at this, this is money out of people's pockets. People who are at 52% below the poverty level. So we're coming to them and saying, well, she's making, $76,000 and we'd like her to make 82. When somebody's making 35 and can't pull it together for their family of 3 or 4.
But she
I
goes
just have a
somewhere
huge-
else and get 100, and then we're stuck without a grant.
So I do have a question going back to something that you said. So you're the president?
Vice president
Vice president for the union negotiations, did I understand that?
of the union.
Of the union, okay. So you may be the person that can answer a question for me. So for department heads, for staff, you said that wasn't part of her original contract.
Wasn't part of her original job description.
Okay, where are the job descriptions? Because we've been asking this, right? So like, what are the job duties of department heads? What are the job duties of the employees? Where are they posted? Where are they wrote up? Who has them?
I'm not sure about that, but I think finance possibly.
Okay. So, but you're given them, correct? So that you understand what is in the original and what's
No.
the expectations?
So the president typically hangs on to all that paperwork.
Okay. And who is the president?
That would be shared now. She took over recently.
Okay. Thank you.
I believe we have all the job descriptions in Kevin's office. And Virginia, I know, has been working on redoing a lot of job descriptions too to make them a little bit more compliant and more consistent.
Not me.
Well, I did ask Kevin, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and he said there might be a binder, but he didn't know if it was completed, and
You can shoot me an email. Let me know what job descriptions you want. Look at.
I'd like to see the binder on all of them. I would like to just look through it, that way I can try to take notes and stuff, so I'm a little bit more informed on that.
Okay.
Because, again, it does help when someone stands up and says, okay, this is what the job entails.
And this is
It's
the job
justifying the salary, and we don't know what the job entails. How do we justify those amounts of money? We don't. And some people are more upfront to the public, like Diana. I'm sorry, not to single you out, but we go to her, right? It's the clerk, we see the department, we're in there more frequently. Some of these departments, people aren't going in as frequently, they don't know what's going on. So it does help to have those.
All right. So now we'll go to election and registrars. So that was what we were talking about before. The election workers went down just based upon history and talking to the registrars. She's like, it just ebbs and flows depending on what they have for election years. And so those are the numbers that she gave us. Supplies went up a little for the machines that she's using. She had to get new ballot machines. And that was the elected official raise. So there's not much on this page.
The elected official raise is 9.63%. Is that cumulative between the two?
No, that's one of the elected officials. For elected people, it's the tax collector, it's the town clerk, it's the registrars, and the first selectman. So every elected person is at the 9.63. All right, engineering, this is where the person decided to go work for a different company, and so now we're using contracted services for our engineering department. MS4 is in there. You'll see for year after year. We're currently looking in getting prepared an RFP for sewer drainage, so we do have a lot of things in the work, but it's eliminating a person and changing it to a contracted services for engineering.
And that's just straight pay, doesn't include any, there's no benefits?
No
there's
benefits,
nothing.
no phone,
Nothing.
no car use, none of that. It's all street contract work. And we're actually lucky he's still coming into the office too, so he does maintain office hours here too.
So that is like a flat rate, if he does more or less, it's not, I don't know, it's not gonna change?
It's a per hour, and we have in our thing not to exceed 100,000.
Gotcha, thank you.
So does he need to have all these things like near mapping, the MS4, the software, all that stuff?
Well, it's not just engineering that uses that. Near map is shared with the town planner, the assessors, multiple departments, and engineering still would access those maps, whether it's a contract service or
So
not.
we should just move it back into those two departments that are still using it?
Well, the engineer is still using it because he's still maintaining office hours, and it's still called the engineering department. It's just not a town employee.
That's not fair. It's just, it's a subcontractor now.
True, it is. I mean, if you'd like to see it moved out of this, I mean, the dollar amount doesn't change if you just wanted a separate location.
Shouldn't even be there anymore. It wasn't there in the past until we added that guy a couple of years ago. It wasn't, that line didn't even exist.
Yeah, it's like engineering firm wasn't there till 2024. But it's more of a software issue that the engineer does still use. The finance department. This is increase the assistant finance director. She is at $61,000, which is greatly low and average out of industry standards. And the AP sewer secretary, the sewer secretary does our accounts payable, and so she gets a certain dollar amount, and it would be $6 an hour, so she would go up to $14,500. Increased computer for the new accounting software, attended live date on September 1st.
Question.
Yes.
The sewer, so I was reading about that, so she does AP, is that charged back to the other department? If she
That's what this charge is here for her salary.
is it 14,000?
It's the 14,000. So what happens is part of her salary is split.
Yep.
It's like she works for two different
Yep.
departments. And
Okay.
so that is the allocation from the finance department for accounts payable.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Jody does all of our payroll and has been here for over 30 years. So she's a gem.
So you're raising her to 60?
To 68. And even that's a good 20 to 25 below municipal industry standards.
She's at 61 now, right?
Yes. Fire marshal, increasing the deputy to 4 hours a week. The fire marshal, there's unfortunately a lot more fires and a lot more responsibilities, so that was primarily his increase.
It's almost 60%. Am I reading that?
Yeah, for $6,000, $5,990.
And that's to raise,
That's
Fire marshal.
That's not necessarily going to be used. That's just a line item that's hold in case you use it. Correct?
So, we had $10,000 that was the norm. We're gonna increase it to 5,990, whatever that says up there. We're gonna bring in a guy who's gonna be a part-time inspector, 4 hours a week, basically to get out and do the things that I can't do. All right, so we can say, like we said with the building inspector, we have a lot of businesses going on. You could take U-Line's plan review alone, right? I don't know how many hours that we have into that, but that takes me off of the road. Obviously, if we have a fire, I have to go up for the fire, but I'm not scheduling inspections at that time. So this guy will go out and pretty much all he's going to do is go make sure apartment buildings are safe.
because that is like my biggest demise. And if you talk to any other municipality, it's the same things, to trying to get into apartment buildings to make sure that they're safe for their renters.
So he will work every week for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna work it out with him, however he wants to do it. He's a deputy or he's a marshal in another town. You know, if he wants to work 2 days a month, as long as he's below his hours, that's all that matters. He'll have a set number of hours that he can work per week, per month, per year. That's dedicated to him. And the remainder of it is dedicated for the other deputies that'll come back for fire investigations, for coverage if I'm out and they have to go out for a call, fireworks standbys, things like that. So, and that's a variable that we don't know, whereas we could have one fire, we could have 500 fires.
So that was my question, because I remember the other deputy is basically coverage if you're not available.
That's correct.
That's what I was curious, if that was what was going on here. That's
Correct.
what's really going on.
No, so this is for a different inspector. Okay?
While you're standing there, can you tell us what the emergency management utilities -new is for 2,500? Just
Kevin,
curious.
would you like to speak on that?
We utilize a space that is for emergency management, and we've never really put in utilities use there. We want to be able to cover that cost.
What do you mean?
Okay, so where are you? You're in Central Village?
Yeah.
So Central Village Firehouse is where we use it right now, and we have never paid utilities for that usage. So we'd like to at least account for that.
You have an office in there, correct?
Correct. Yep, so that space is utilized for times of emergencies, and that could be fire-related, weather-related. It could, if the police need a place for, say, God forbid, an active shooter situation, and that's a staging location, we can utilize that. Central Village Fire District allows us to utilize that space. We utilize their wireless internet. You know, they pay for the electricity, I pay for a phone line there. So I think it's generous to allow for the use of that space.
And that relationship's been going on for several years now, hasn't it?
I believe it used to be in the basement of the PD, and that was prior to my tenure here.
Yep.
And then it transitioned there, and it used to be, I think it was the old library.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it was rehabbed, and that was offered up there. Yep.
Okay, so as you can see, a lot of investment into the employees. A lot of investment in employees. They are our biggest asset. And the supply and demand out there, we'd like to keep the people we have. Let's see, now we're on to general. This is a plethora of things. You've got IT in here, you've got telephone. I have a placeholder of ECC for 75 grand. We have legal. Is there any one line item you guys wish or care to address? Fireworks we put back in there.
15,000?
Yeah, it used to be 12.
Light them up.
It used to be 12. You don't get a lot for 15 dollars. Yeah, of course not.
Yeah, obviously with the tariffs and taxes, it's going up quickly. We were trying to do something, and we're still looking to do so, which is a modification to this year's fireworks, because this is our 250th. So we were looking to do a drone show instead, which has fireworks that come off of it. It's a costly event. I do have some people who are lining up to be sponsors, so that'll offset the other amount that is needed for that. If I can't get the full amount, we'll just be doing fireworks.
Thank you.
Now, do you have any idea how much you've collected so far?
I think at this point we have 7,000 collected, and 2 more people are interested.
I have a question, Kevin, probably before you sit down. 75,000 for building maintenance and operations. Where'd that number come from?
Just a placeholder, because we know that there's some things that need to be fixed. We have a current, remember last year I gave a list of all the things that we would be doing. You have an elevator contract for the maintenance of that elevator. We have the same thing with HVAC. That's current. We have some things that were listed to us from when we did the assessment of that building, talking about $100,000 worth, which I have somewhere else, but $100,000 worth of items. You have to have people going over on a regular basis to maintain, check on, and make sure. You know, we did something where we mentioned before we had a little issue with the boiler, which has been, fixed. We have an issue with a compressor. Was it the sprinkler system compressor, Ron?
The what?
Sprinkler system,
Yeah.
compressor went.
So we do check on it. We don't have people staffed over the weekend though to go in there. And we don't have a online monitoring system like the sewer has. Sewer has what's called, is it called monitors or is it called something else? But anyways, they do at each of the stations, they have an alarm system which tells them that there's something wrong. That's a little different than going to a building. None of the schools have a monitoring system either. So we have to try to check it as soon as we can. We come in Mondays and check them. So right now it's a placeholder for the 75. I'm hoping that there's eventual discussion and action be taken on what we do with the ECC building, one way or the other.
So did I understand correctly, you said last year 100,000?
No, 100, it was actually, we were looking for 154, we had to cut that during the budget season, when you said, make some
What did
cuts.
you cut to? I don't remember, do you remember what it was?
Okay.
67?
It's 67,
Yeah,
221.
67, how much of that 67 was utilized, all of it, most of it?
There's still more contracts that are being completed, so in other words, we didn't get a bill yet for a couple of them.
Okay.
As of December 31st, they used 14.5.
And there was more from what happened just now.
All right, thank you.
Anything else on those lines?
Postage. Talking about postage, $24,000 for postage?
Oh, yeah, easily.
You've only spent $1,100 as of December 31st.
The allocation wasn't on, they get a new postage machine and it's just turned into the allocation now.
Okay.
And postage is going to continue to go up.
They pay their tax bill before the end of this year for the following bill.
Tax bills are, the new postage is, that just is a simple allocation for the new machine.
So, do you reallocate back to the department,
Yes.
like to the tax?
Yep, so what they do, everyone has to put in what department is utilizing the postage machine and it prints off a report.
Okay, and it
Gets allocated to them.
adjusted, okay, journal entries.
Yep.
So we still look at $24,000 instead of it going to the department?
Yeah, in general, absolutely. Postage is almost $1 an envelope.
Oh,
You know, correspondence, anything, postage is, yes.
Probate's had a deduction. What's going on there?
It actually was budgeted wrong last year. They actually send out the paperwork. We get that dollar straight amount from probate. So that is based upon their allocation. We don't determine that dollar amount. We don't raise or decrease it. That comes straight from the central probate office.
So they screwed up last year and we were paid?
We were paid as a refund. You see it in your, you actually saw it last month actually in your forecast.
And the copy machines, those are contracted?
Yeah, those are contracted. It's a new one with, it's no longer Rico. What's the name of it? UBO. So everyone got new photocopiers at the beginning of the year.
How's the reason about those copiers?
No comment. Let's continue.
Any change, we're going to have some issues, and we have had issues, obviously. We're
It's
still
pretty
working.
obvious how they feel about it.
Okay, a lot of them.
Clearly.
They were. Okay. So anything else on general?
Now we're done for government right now.
All right, highway department. So the main thing on highway department is adding another person. With the amount of snow for sure that we got this year, we definitely needed more people on the road. Yard work, tree work, we absolutely need another DPW person. Those guys are working a lot of overtime and it's relentless. I mean, you can see all the posts on social media, why aren't they here, why are we doing this? So we're proposing one additional full-time person for highway, bringing the 11 people to 12.
And again, we're contracted at 3%, and he's at 4 for the department, for the supervisor.
I believe he is different. That's his contract is for. I believe that is for.
He's a working supervisor.
Yeah, there's no working supervisor, no real secretary. They're all hands-on. It's not like he sits in his office.
No.
Yeah, so that's.
And he's subject to time and a half.
Yes.
Overtime.
He has his own line, supervisor overtime.
Yeah.
The police mechanic got 3.77 also.
Police
That is
mechanic,
just a 3.
might be in calculation, but that is based upon actual. We did have a changeover in who that person was too. Did the previous person get an increase?
I'd have to go back and look. Whatever's in the contract.
Because what I used for budget is I went into ADP and took their actuals and put 3% on the actual. And that was as of December.
EDP going forward?
Oh, yes, we have AGP. Are we happy with AGP? No. But let me get the accounting software first, and I want to see what they have to offer.
Why do we think we're gonna save money on refuse?
Refuse disposal,
Yeah.
1,500. Approved budget is 1,650. We're only in at 730, so the saving of $150.
Yeah, no, you're right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go back to the actual.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was looking at the actual, looking at what was approved.
Okay, that's fine, no worries. That's why I put the colors in there, but sometimes
Yeah, I know, but I was looking at it.
What's the contract services, Lisa?
You're gonna have your highway radios, you have, uniforms is a big one, that's why we took it out there. Uniforms is most of it. What else is in their contracted services? There's a whole laundry list of little things, telephones,
Mostly
radios, maintenance type items.
There's a decrease there, so I was just wondering.
Yeah, it's, the highway supervisor gave me these numbers. Human resources now has its own department. The only reason that that looks like it went up a lot is because you'll be here a full year versus a portion of the year. What's that?
Uniform's got its own line item now.
Right. Isn't that what you wanted? The last one?
Well, that might answer her question on contract services.
Okay.
So it wasn't a decrease, it was an increase.
No.
No. It went from 35 down to 26, is down to 19. We had to double uniform contracts this year, remember? We had two companies.
Oh, that's right.
So this resolves.
So this is now
This is
just
the fix of that, saying we only have one company instead of two. They should have really nice uniforms.
for that kind of money.
So human resources, just basic, giving her her own line items and her own expenses because we really do need a human resource manager. She's excellent. There's a lot of rules and regulations now, FMLA, all the union contracts, and not any of them are consistent. We're pulling our hair
Now,
out.
she's half-time?
Yes, she's 2 days a week.
And my other question is, isn't she contracted through WeCog?
Yes, she is
So why are
contracted
we
with us.
giving raises if it's contractual with WeCog? Well, explain that to me.
The contract with WeCog would have it in there.
That's exactly it. They wanted to make sure that they had this person for a few years. We signed a contract, and each year we do an increase.
Okay.
How many year contract is it?
This one's a 3, I believe.
So, but she is well worth it, and she's accessible more than the 2 days a week as well.
How many hours a week do we have her roughly?
She's physically here 2 days, so about 17 hours, but we are able to reach her 24/7, 7 days a week. She's very good at getting back to us all the time. So you'll see a lot more coming out with the Human Resource Department too. She's got all these new forms, of doing a lot with insurance claims, workers' comp forms, trying to organize us. A lot of what she and I walked into hasn't been changed in 20 years. From computer systems to forms to, everything's still on the, like, purple, what's the stuff, the carbon copy stuff? I mean, we're just talking real old systems and procedures, and so we're trying to at least get it more up to date and get it more online, more up to term, so it'll be more transparent for everybody. We don't like lawsuits. Insurance, you heard me open with that, actually. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. We might have some savings if I get eShip money back, but we're going with the state partnership plan. It's a much better plan for our employees, and it's not like we had much of a choice. eShip's dissolved. There's nothing out there. So we're getting away from a self-insurance funded plan. The pension, that is a direct number. I gave that report to you guys at the time. That is from the actual actuary. And our pension is almost at 100% funded. It probably will be by the end of this year, which is amazing. So I think that is good to know. The general insurance liability, I have a little room, like I just got the quote actually last week, that they're coming in at 5%. I got them at 10%. So we do have a little bit of savings there.
Why is your comp going down? New carrier?
Actual, based on
Oh,
actual.
okay, so your claims rating went down?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that's the biggest thing, it's mostly the health insurance. And we'll be watching that throughout the year as we settle with each of you guys will be highlighted in that on a month by month. Library, every single town is required to have a town library. We're very lucky that we have that town library at the rate that we do, because the libraries can be very expensive, so that's at a 10% increase. That is higher overall, but what that library does in their cost
Is that an endowment requirement? I know that the building that it's housed in is kind of like a gift to the town, correct? And if we move the library, that building goes back to, explain that for us, please.
I'll do my best. That is a building which was turned over as a library. It can only be a library. If they were to stop being a library, then we don't have one. So it's not owned by the town of Plainfield, it's the Aldridge Library. This is something where we do have a requirement. We don't have the library anywhere else in town. We have to negotiate possibly with the Board of Education to utilize some of theirs if they ever went out of business. So this is a small investment overall.
Do we know what's included in that 118,000? That's 10,000, is that for periodical?
Sure, I can get you the actuals that they gave us.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to see that. Sure, thank you.
Yeah, it's a little different because we don't own it. Third party.
I read somewhere that they said that even if we moved the library out of that building,
They're done.
ever,
Ever.
because the building would just go back to the family, the Aldrich family,
And
correct?
then we're in trouble because we don't have a.
No, I'm just saying, like, if we found another, just for hypothetical, thank you. If we, let's say we just moved the library to the ECC, or part of the ECC, then that Aldrich building, the Aldrich Library, would cease to exist in that building in Moosa, and that building would then go back to the Aldrich family. We
Right.
still could have a library somewhere else though.
Right.
Okay. Then,
Probably not for 118 grand though.
The books,
Sure
the
not.
books might be owned by, I don't know who owns the books, does the library own the books?
A library does own the books.
Yeah. So that would be the problem.
Someone said, well, listening to the ECC into a library, we'd have to start from scratch. Everything would have to be bought brand new. It's again, it's a small investment in what we're looking for, but someone said, let's go over to the ECC. Great, you get to buy all the new racks, all the new books, everything electronic, have it all put in. And by the way, just to match, apples to apples, if we were to try to do something into any other building, take a look at Killingly. And what they were looking at 2 years ago, they were looking at actually closing it down. They paid $650,000 for that library to run.
do we have any grants coming in?
For libraries?
Yeah, for like books, periodicals.
We don't own the library,
I'm very confused. I thought we just didn't own the building. We don't own the contents either?
Nothing.
Okay, and we give them $118,000
Operate, yes.
to operate.
That's heat, that's upgrades to any computers, that's staffing, that's insurance, everything's on that list. I can share it with you.
They're not town employees, though, correct?
No, they're not.
Subcontractors.
It's something that was been done for many, many years. The town would always give them money to continue running.
Like the ambulance service.
If you remember years and years ago, for those who are old enough to know, there used to be multiple libraries. You mentioned that the Central Village Firehouse used to have house as a library. There was also downtown Plainfield, there was a small building right beside the breakfast place, that small little, what do you call it, shotgun style. That was also a library. But over the years, the funds weren't there, and they decided to close the other ones, but keep the Aldrich Library open by giving them a kind of an in-kind donation to continue running.
I do have a question, Kevin. You did mention, like, you'd have to talk to the Board of Ed, but they have this gorgeous facility out there. We, as a town, can't.
Okay, so you should, in my opinion, should be opening up a library during the school hours. So that's the other problem. You got to figure out what hours will be available to be open, who would be able to man it and maintain it. So yeah, there'll be sit down negotiations for that.
Maybe this is something that should be brought to the capital strategic planning, because to me, it's like we're renting an apartment that we're never going to own.
Okay.
So we're investing our money for something we're never going to own.
This is probably a cheaper way to own it.
It is some, something that we want to build on over a period of years though.
Okay, that's something that can be discussed. Obviously, the first charge was to look at the buildings, so.
That all goes part of the capital strategic plan. Absolutely, that's what you want to do. And at that point in time, we're a little off topic, but I take a look at what other towns are doing, like the libraries, most of them are like after-school programs. That's where people use computers. So, but that's a different whole subject. So for right now, this is what we have in town. Okay, moving on to town planner. Their budget is actually going down. And we had an housable 40 plan of $15,000 because there was a house bill, and we didn't know how it would affect the town of Plainfield, and we didn't need that money. So you'll see that decrease coming down. And these are just the normal increases. Vehicle expense went up. Nothing really crazy here. Anyone have any questions for the town plan?
So we're going to increase just travel, and I'm looking at the percentages, which are, when you look at the percentages, they're high. When you look at the actual dollar value, it's not. It's a little skewed. But we're going up to $1,000 for travel for planning. Do we know what that is?
Right? Is that education?
Yes, that would be mostly for education.
For you?
For myself, for the zoning officer, yes.
Okay.
Ryan, so quick question on that. So your department, like the town clerk, town staff, you guys are always going for training, extra certifications?
Yes,
state requirements?
continuing education is required.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, a lot of municipal departments, it's required. And that's a good thing. Police, that was presented on March 25th. Purchase services. Let's see, we've got Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, there's your CCM, Department of Health, Council of Governments, bulky waste, a NECOG revaluation. You'll see that we put that here. Revaluation happens once every 5 years, and it used to be like a capital line item that would allocate, and then the expense would come in for 5th year. It's now an expense yearly through NECOG through regionalization. So we figured if we're going to see it every year, it shouldn't be in capital. It's recurring. So that's why that is there. Meals on Wheels, we're going to go to fresh meals 2 days a week. That is a contract Kevin secured. Obviously, the ambulance, we've discussed that before. That is definitely a concern. $170,000 over $350,000 increase. So I know we've had several meetings. You guys have had meetings and have asked to come back. I don't believe we've ever seen financials. So we will determine. You will let us know how you'd like us to handle it. And I do believe the Board of Selectmen is talking about that on Monday as well. And an RFP will be going out.
I can't support without financials, without audited financials. I don't know how anybody could support that kind of an increase.
I agree wholeheartedly, but in the interim, I need a placeholder, and it can't be July 1st without an ambulance service for people in town. So whatever we have to do, we have to work with negotiations, come up with a placeholder that we want to put in there, and say this is what we find acceptable, and whether we stay with them or not and move on, do an RFP, whether we sign on with them for a year, 3 months, 6 months, I can't answer that. That's something we all have to work together on, because this is astronomical.
You know, I drove by the building the other day, and maybe I'm just not seeing what everybody else is apparently seeing. I don't think that building looks that terrible. I mean, the way he was talking about it, it was like it was falling down around the ears.
Might be a different view on the inside.
Okay.
I would ask to take a tour.
Yeah.
I would ask for an RFP.
I would ask an RFP.
Kevin, could you please explain the Meals on Wheels program? Like, I know there was the increase. Lisa said something about 2 days a week fresh, so I just
Yes.
wanted the explanation.
What we do right now, the costs were going up over the previous years, and they went to a frozen program instead. I'm not a fan of frozen. I did deliveries for Meals on Wheels. It's heartbreaking when you see what you're delivering to people with a frozen meal. You're hoping that they actually are utilizing it properly. So there's another company which I talked to the previous year to see what their rates are and what they offer. They offer an excellent program, and so we're looking for them to do 2-day-a-week deliveries. I think that'll help. And then, by the way, portions of those 2 days are twice the size of what we're getting now. So I think it's important to know that we're trying to do our best for the elderly, the shut-ins, the people that are signed up for this.
I support that.
Would they get the frozen meals also, or is this like?
No, it's a trade-off, so we're not doing the frozen anymore, we let go with this company instead, and they'll do deliveries. Wait, this year we didn't have it in the contract, so we had volunteers, and I want to thank the volunteers for this year. There's a lot of people that pitched in to help, a lot of the people from the senior center. I know, Beth, you've done some, I've done some, other staff members have done some, but we really want to make sure that they're taken care of and they're healthy, and I think that freshmen will be better.
Now, my only concern is the other 5 days a week, if we're not doing the frozen, what's going to be available?
We can do the best we can with it. That's why I'm saying the portion sizes are twice what you have now, so I think it'll stretch it out.
What's the name of the company, Jeff?
Oh my goodness.
Country-
I'll start on that one.
Country Comfort Cooking. Isn't that who you went with?
Sorry, yeah.
Country Comfort Cooking? Well, we use them at Coffee House. Right?
And I think those meal sizes are about 2 to 3 times the size of an average meal for the seniors that they're receiving.
And when we looked at it last year, they actually gave us some to test.
Aren't they local?
Yes.
Yeah, they're Sterling.
And they're state certified.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Beth. All right, Rec and Senior Services. I relabeled and add Senior Services because it was always in there, but the department label was never acknowledged, so it just makes more sense that that's where it actually goes. The rec program does have its own fund, so we're tracking the rec programs, and we're going to hopefully be able to offset some of these costs with those rec programs. But Beth, if you want to come up, did you guys have any specific questions here? Let's see, we got park and maintenance. That's a big one.
I'm going to read off my paper because I'm blind. Yeah, so one of the biggest increases is for the park and field maintenance. We do carry the weight of all the porta potties for all the parks, which is just a general expense year to year, so that has not really changed all that much other than just general increases that we see with most things year to year. The biggest increase is our baseball parks are in pretty drastic need of repairs. I know better than to ask for everything to be done at once. So I am trying to work with Little Leagues and come up with a plan that we're kind of 50-50 with things. The town owns the property, so we've kind of come to a thing where ground level, we're doing our best to go at least 50-50, or if there's certain bigger things, that kind of falls on my head as park and recs, and that's typical for most towns. Right now, we have Plainfield Little League, who has at least 2 fields who are in need of dirt. So I'm going to do that this time, but I'm also planning probably needing that next year because it does get compacted and needs to be replaced. But there's a standing water issue on one of the fields there too due to not correct leveling, just the age of the fields. They have not been redone in a very long time. So one of them needs to be replaced. Moosehead Little League is seeing a similar issue. So their softball field is having drainage issues. So every time there's a heavy rain, which we all know how often that's happened in the last year.
When did the Little League stop taking care of the park, the fields?
Long before I started.
Because they used to do all that themselves. They would handle all that type of stuff.
I can't answer that, but Kevin might be able to, but I think he just stepped out. When I came in, there was a lot of negative feelings between the Little League and Recreation due to whatever happens between them and my predecessor.
Does the town have a contract with the Little League?
We have one that's from 2010, but it is not super specific with a lot of things. So it does go in line with the boards. Whoever's on the board of Little League, it's been ebbing and flowing with responsibility. They're not getting volunteers like they used to. I know I'm having similar issues with our sports programs. It's getting exceedingly difficult to run them. So I've been trying to mend bridges with our Little Leagues because I believe it's more important to work together and try to do better good for the community, which is our kids, at as fair of a level as we can. So like they're taking care of, any of their scoreboards, of any of their outbuildings, that kind of thing. Maintenance, Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, we're mowing for them like once a week-ish.
Yes, sometimes
right?
more. But
and
the problem we have is they don't do anything. They
That's what I mean. They used to do
They don't even pick up their garbage. Like when we go to mow, we have to pick up garbage off of all the fields because the kids and parents throw shit everywhere and just leave it. I mean, when we used to play, we had to pick it up.
So I will say, we're making headway. They do have a new president, Chris McIntyre, who is a great local community person.
He's a lot better.
He's much better. To give you an idea, I've been able to sit down with him even twice in the last 6 months and sit down and talk things through, talk things over. We've been talking about the dirt that we're ordering right now. We need 4 triaxles of dirt right now between the 2 fields. So he's like, if you can swing 2, he's like, we will find a way to swing the other 2 and make it work. And I was like, okay, that sounds fair to me. Like, it's at least a half and half for now. Because again, it's an immediate fix. It's something I can't wait on. These fields aren't safe to play.
Have you gone into RFP on any of these, or is this just we're taking whatever we can get this in part, in terms of what the cost is?
I do quotes, so I do go out to quote, get 3 quotes. It's always under the amount that I need to go further than that. So I do get the 3 quotes. I do go with the lowest quote. This year it was a little more expensive just because gas costs have gone up, so now there's surcharges that weren't there last year. So on our end, I'm looking at $4,000, but that's coming out of this year's budget. That was planned already.
So where are you coming up with the 230% increase for porta potties?
No, I wasn't able to finish.
Okay.
So going into the league, these ball fields that I'm telling you are needing replacement. Softball field, same problem in those, it's drainage issues that every time a heavy rain comes, it's washing out due to the way everything is leveled. Over the years, it's been Band-Aid, 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 throw more dirt on it, throw more dirt on it. I want to get it consulted with a group to see what it would cost to fix it and level it. I'm anticipating that cost to be up to $20,000 based on other towns that I've spoken to, because I do have a peer group of rec directors that I talk with who have recently done these changes. So I kind of had a ballpark idea of what we're looking at. I am planning on having a consultant come back out now that there's no snow covering the ground, so that I can get a free estimate of what one of those fields will cost. But I am looking at least that worth of field repair, if not at one combination of the 2. So that's why I'm trying to build it in slow rather than hitting it all at once. I'm trying to build back the rapport with the leagues because, again, it wasn't great when I came in. The president's changed over since I came in too. We have a good working relationship, so I'm hoping we can get back to a place where there's...
I don't think it's just about having a good working relationship. I think we need contracts that are spelling out what the Little League's responsibility is and then what our responsibility is. Maybe that's...
And that is something I would like to do because the contract that is in existence is old with previous people that are no longer there. A good relationship makes the contract process easier. So that's just been in the last year. I've been working with that, the new president to try and, develop that partnership so we can relook at that down the road. But that's what that cost is.
So
it's not just the porta potties.
So $23,000 is in your estimate right now when you cover both fields plus the porta potties?
The porta potties are going to run me just under $9,000.
What are the porta potties for? Let's just start there.
So, Lions Park,
Yep.
we do the handicap single accessibility.
Yep.
We do offer 1 porta potty for each of the little leagues because they're at the opposite ends of the field.
That we should round to do.
That's what is in the contract at the moment. So that's what we are doing. So that's, again, something we are doing. That was in existence before my starting. So that's been what's been done. Doesn't mean we still have to continue to do that, but that's where it is now. Moose Up Pond, we do a porta potty there as well. And then this year, with the addition of Rotary Park in the last 2 years, we're adding one there as well, because we are providing for the parks.
What about the parking Moraine?
That one we're looking into. We have other bigger things we're trying to do there. We're looking at a playground needing to come down, ultimately.
We're looking at a lot more than that. This is a quality to me. This baby swing should be taken down effective immediately. It is not safe.
My advice was last summer, that the whole playground is out of compliance.
It is.
And I did bring that to the attention of multiple people.
This is a safety issue.
It is,
I would
correct.
not want my granddaughter's ear on that. This has no safety at all. If a parent puts a toddler in that and swings it, that toddler is going to come flying right out of here. It's quite embarrassing, to be honest with you.
I am aware.
The basketball nets on both courts are falling down.
The replacements have already been purchased and have been waiting to be put
The
out.
swings that are existing for the other children are too high up off the ground. I have photos, more photos, there are rocks protruding up out of the ground in between where the slides are, where the little ones would be running. There's rubber hosing that goes from this hearing apparatus to the next one over, that's a trip hazard. There are rubber mats at the bottom of the slides. Their cedar mulching is just about completely removed, so children falling would be a major, this is a major lawsuit, in my opinion, for the town.
I am aware, and I did bring this to the attention of the selectmen last year after I received my CPSI certificate. I am a trained professional, and I did say that that playground should be shut down. I've said it more than once.
Even right now as it stands, I can't even believe, because I've mentioned this swing, that no one from the highway department or the rec department or the selectman's office has gotten on this. That swing,
it's sitting in my garage waiting replacement.
Even if we can't replace it, it should have been taken down. Hopefully it has been, because that to me is just, it's a major safety issue.
I mean, Kevin, you can speak to this. Since I came on board, I have had that Oregon playground on the radar.
Sounds like it needs to be something addressed immediately for safety.
Immediately for safety issues?
Yeah, take everything down.
The liability issues, absolutely.
And I said the climber needs to come down. It is out of compliance and multiple months. So that is something I have said for months.
And I've also spoken to the police about it, because the residents around the area are also questioning how come there is no cameras in their park and playground like we have here in the village of Plainfield.
That I can speak to, that was done before me.
So, there's stuff we need to be checking on. The chief said, it's a good question, I don't know.
So if you're looking for cameras to be put in parks, you also have to have a accessibility for Wi-Fi. So that's something we don't have over there. I mean, we can put into a budget to try to find a way to do that, but at this point, that's not out there. So I'd like to invite.
You're dumping all kinds of money into Little League fields.
Right, we have
You have a safety hazard, it sounds like.
multiple, Sean.
Yeah, but it would have been,
Okay.
we can talk about this and we can actually meet on this. I don't know anything about why we didn't meet on this already. I know you brought this to our attention. We're working with who we have for our highway and rec, and we can take care of taking out some things immediately.
Yeah. And all the swim replacements will be as it actually. So they're ready to go.
So that is why that amount has not increased there. Oregon is in the capital plan, I believe. Not yet. Okay. But I am running a fundraising campaign.
$100,000 more in our capital being structured and built into more money going into the Lions Park and zero money going into more region in that capital or anywhere in this budget. Which is why I went over and looked at that part, because it was brought to my attention that it was in pretty bad disrepair. And when I seen it, I was like, are you kidding me? So I don't know how we justify that. How do we justify all this money going into all and not even 5,000, 10,000, something?
The pavilion money was not mine to put in there. That was not added by me.
We're trying to redevelop.
Right.
You got a major investor just purchased a big building down there who's looking to redevelop that building. We should be.
I do have See My Legacy involved. I have a campaign ready to launch for the fundraising for that program, so I am working on those things. As far as the Lions Park things, those were in place before me. I did not place that on the capital plan.
This is all good stuff, guys. Okay, this is important. So let's reconvene after this versus a budget meeting right now.
Yep.
And let's have our park and rec go down, take everything down, and then talk about the capital strategic. And then as you guys go through and we do the capital plan, maybe we allocate funds to it. I think that sounds like it needs to be more of an immediate fix. And I think that's probably what we need to do right now. Beth has done a great job. If you look, these line items are a little bit different, so that looks skewed line by line, but she stayed within her parameters. She actually has a reduction in her budget of $2,800. In addition to that, she started the rec fund, where we're actually tracking all the different things, and if there's any excess funds in that department, it'll come to offset the general fund. So we are making headways with park and rec. I know it feels like it's been like an endless wheel of what's going on and software issues, but we are making progress. In addition with the pool, her goal is, after we get it fixed, or hear that in the capital item, we want to have the pool open 6 to 7 days a week all day. And that is our goal. Okay, so we do have a lot of things, and the Oregon Park, it definitely seems like a safety concern.
How's your staffing on the pool?
Currently, my class coordinator is out on leave, so I am a full person She's a 40-hour employee a week. So I have been taking that load on to myself in addition to my so that is why we've had the closures we've had. She also held the lifeguard certification. None of my lifeguards I currently have on staff are available in the mornings as they're all students. So that is why you see the closures we have right now. I have just put up for hire 2 lifeguards that are certified and ready to go. One of which can work full-time, is not going to be full-time necessarily, but she has full-time availability, I should say. Another one is a student. So those have already gone to Virginia for hire. One is already pretty much through the process. We're just waiting on the drug test because she's over 18. The other one I handed to her today. I have 2 guards coming up with their certifications lapsing. Our aquatics coordinator also was our instructor, so I have partnered with Wyndham Rec and in exchange for use of our pool for their deep end certification, they will be most likely helping us with our certifications with our already are looking at that process now, so I'm very grateful to them. Once I get more guards on deck, I am looking to open up more hours. So that was the main reason for the closures, as I said, it's the lack of staff.
How many lifeguards do you work at this upon?
None.
No lifeguards?
No, it's purely at your own risk there. That's been the case for years. Sorry to me.
I made a comment that one of your new hires is going for drug testing because they're over 18. The kids don't need to be drug. Oh, okay.
And it's also, I believe, back there too, right? They're under 18 and they're over 18.
And then I don't know who you said, one of the other towns is going to use our pool for defect certification.
For one day.
Is that a source of income for us?
Typically, but you also have to understand they might potentially be giving my certifications for free, which is something I usually pay out for.
Okay.
So it's an exchange of services.
It's working with another town to help.
You know I have 1,000 questions for you. But one of the things that really just struck me now is out of the $529,000 budget, $300,000 of it is payroll. And the way I see it, like the first 10 lines on this budget are all payroll.
That is correct.
Can you explain to us what the 39% increase is for the recreation program coordinator?
We saw that this year. The custodian went into the allocation. It was a line transfer they did in November. She changed from a full-time custodian to a full-time coordinator.
We literally swapped the hours and the rates. So it's actually, it's the same between the two, it's just the positions were flipped as far as hours and rates.
And then the senior expenses, what are those?
So the senior expenses consider if we bring in programming, if we actually, it's the bigger part is the salaries, I should start with that. So we do have the senior social service person who comes in twice a week that we pay 6 hours a week. We lost our arts crafts coordinator, which was there 3 days a week, both due to budget cuts and she retired, but when she retired we couldn't afford to replace her. So that is reinstating that position. That's been a lot of feedback I've gotten from the seniors that they want that position back there, and it's something I can't with my staff fully do because you can't be in the office and doing that at the same time. So I'd like to reinstate that position. That's paying for our senior driver who runs the transportation for us. That's paying for a couple $1,000s worth of supplies. So if we need to, supplies and expenses, I should say. So if we're going to do like Horizon Wings to come in on a Saturday, we have to pay out for that.
So Beth, does the senior club pay us?
They pay nothing.
So they use the building for free?
That was grandfathered in long before my time, as with pitch, bingo, Veterans Coffee House.
And revenue, I know I talked to you a little bit about this. I think if the RTC had approached you about using your building one night a week, and because their chairperson contacted me to ask you why the building couldn't be open at night. And
the building is open at night. The problem is we have line dancing in the rooms that they wanted on the day they wanted it. I told them if they could do a different day, we might be able to make it work.
But it is
depending.
available past 8 o'clock? or-
Not past 8 o'clock, I don't have staffing.
Okay. Is that something you would consider just for, as a revenue source, I'm thinking, you know?
You'd have to pay people more. There's 3 new people in the office, myself, my assistant, and my coordinator. We already pull 40 to 50 hours on a given week, depending on the week. We all have families. We can't always dedicate time every single weekend to doing that. Same thing with the egg hunts. We caught a lot of flack because we didn't do egg hunts. It's just the 3 of us running these things. We don't have volunteers. We don't have the coordination that some of these other towns like Hillary have. So right now, the custodian is usually the nighttime staff, so he's there till 8 o'clock.
I don't need to, so you're the department head. The pool coordinator is out on
Leave.
So one of your girls is the assistant rec director, and the other one is the rec program coordinator?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for that. That clears up a lot. Mystery.
I have a question. The supplies and expenses going down a lot. How?
All right, so when I first came on, supplies and expenses included several other things as well. So we've tried to siphon out the different things so it's more specific and more translatable to what it is. So building repair is like the number 1 thing that was rolled into supplies and expenses when I first started. Yes.
See, so that's in the line item this year, 15,000 for budget.
Okay.
Yep, vehicle expenses is out again separate so that it's clear that what the vehicle expenses are for the senior vehicles. So we've tried to take those things out to make it more obvious because with office supplies, we don't tend to go through a ton of office supplies up there.
$7,000 of supplies, like questionable.
Right.
2,900 now.
But that's the thing, that those things were all lumped into that, whereas we're trying to be more thoughtful about what funds we're putting things into so that it's more transparent.
Beth, where are the people that teach the line dancing and yoga?
That's in the rec department. That's
the rec
that
fund.
other thing you get every single month. The rec fund is keeping that separate, so it shows all revenue and expenses for all of her recreation items. And then if there's any revenue at the end of the year for that, they'll come in and continue to decrease the expenses out of the general fund.
Now, are those independent contractors or those employees?
Employees.
Yeah, we employ all of them.
Correct.
So how many employees are there for the different programs?
Right now, I have 2 senior fitness coordinators, fitness instructors, a line dancing instructor, and I just brought on another fitness instructor. She's just started. So they are all in what we call the rec fund. So that is the fund we set up last year to show the ins and outs. It's completely, the idea behind it is to be self-sustaining.
So you're employing 4 employees, are they full-time, part-time?
Part-time.
Part-time.
No benefit.
I know they only work if they've got that program running.
Correct.
And how much is currently in that fund account?
You get it every month. It was under 20, I think, or right around 20.
And that's gonna stay existing, or is that coming back to the general fund?
So at the end of the
At the end of the year,
year,
it
it will
comes
come
back.
back. The only thing that won't come back is the prepaid for the summer. We get grants and people paying for summer camp. This is by the time at the end of the year, July 1st, some people pay too, and that's the only thing that will go over.
The summer concerts.
Summer
And summer
So
concerts.
to get very-
I'm gonna be 100% honest, I don't like all these separate funds. To me, they lack a lot of transparency. I don't understand it because the general fund is what these things should be.
Recreation does have its own fund, and most municipalities it is its own fund because it has all the different programs. And the idea behind recreation is to have it self-sufficient, and you are getting those monthly.
And are we gonna be auditing all these separate
Yes.
funds? Okay.
Yes.
This is all new going forward. This was a change that's happened recently. We're starting to see it more transparent. It's better now.
$150,000 in that fund.
Correct, and we took some of that and put it back in the fund balance to help out, so.
This is something the Board of Finance had actually requested.
Right.
Yeah, it's purely to show the revenue being brought in from those, and then they have then an equal line on the other side showing the expenditures. So you
Board of
can see
Finance
exactly.
requested it, but then there was exceptions taken to it when it was building exponentially, because I sat in those budget
No,
meetings.
she means currently. It was a finance decision currently in the last year to create the fund.
So what is your projections for money coming back to the general fund? I'm assuming that, you're looking at a $529,000 proposed budget. How much of that do you expect that you're going to recoup?
Not much. I mean, if we get 10,000, I'll be happy. That's the whole idea. Record's supposed to be like a break-even container or something. And so ideally, if we can move forward with the program, get a better feel. We first don't know the feel. We didn't even know what programs are making money. Okay, so that's step one. So we have to figure out what's making money, what's not making money, just make a more sustainable program, figure out what we want to spend in senior services, because we do want to get back to our senior services. That's part of our community. And so we have to balance that. So this is what's been coming out of the general fund year after year. And so we're trying to decrease what's coming out of the general fund out of taxpayer dollars. And so by creating it separately to show everything.
So I'm just gonna mention, you have just 2 line items here in your payroll at 5% increases. I don't know that that's necessarily justified at this point when we don't even know what's coming in and what's going out.
They're not union contracts.
Rec is not union contract, and if you look, see their salaries actually went down in 2026. And they took a freeze last year. See, so the top line went from 63.7, and then it went to 60. See how it went down?
So we're compensating for the freeze
Yeah.
this year.
I don't think that that's appropriate. I don't know that,
Well,
again,
that is
it goes back
something-
to what our taxpayers are gonna be able to afford. I don't know that that's necessarily fair. And understand I'm not dissing your program, but what I'm saying is that we have a fiduciary responsibility to our taxpayers, to be sure that the money is being spent, their money is being spent appropriately. I'm not comfortable giving people 5% increases and 9% increases and.
Well, that's why we have these meetings.
Yeah.
That's good. We have the Board of Selectmen, Kevin is the CEO of the town, and this is what he feels he needs to do to run the town. You're the Board of Finance with the purse strings, and that's why we have these meetings and these conversations, but it's ultimately you that guys decide what goes on in the budget.
So my concern is with all the hours and days that the pool is shut down because of lack of staff, it's not making us any money. So it's now costing us money.
Right now, yes, because there's staff go out on the unexpected.
It's always costing us money.
So
Pool is always cost money.
So it's hard here because in the past, I've advocated to keep the pool, but it's starting to become a major issue because it's never making money. And there's always a justification of reasoning why it's never making us money, but there's always reasons why it's never open.
Right, combination of staffing, and you'll see in the capital, we've got to do some huge work with the pool, and we'll get to that.
We're trying to justify a
Compliance too.
$529,000 budget for rec when we have a pool sitting there not being utilized by our public and not making us money.
But then you would close the pool, and then that's a service you take away from the town, so that's something that.
During the service being taken away, Lisa, when it's not being utilized,
I can't make people pop out of nowhere for applications either. I have been working diligently to get applicants in. I have 2 on hire, and that's only been in the last couple of weeks. I'm turning them around as fast as I get them. My goal is, I've taken a look at other programs in the area, and I see a lot of different directions we can take with the pool now, which I did not have the flexibility to do before. So I am looking at doing that. My goal in the next year and a half tops, is to get that pool open 7 to 8, Monday through Sunday.
And then we can get revenue for it too, that's the plan. Yeah, the pool will always stay in the general fund too, guys, because it's physically in this building.
I have a question about the Little Leagues again. Is there 2 Little Leagues now? Is it Moosup and Plainfield, or are they combined?
They're combined into one, there's 2 parks. So
Right, there's 2 parks. And in years past, I know there was a lot of donated materials and work done on those fields by, people in the town. Nothing like that ever takes place anymore?
I've been talking with Chris and Greg before Chris. They're having a lot of difficulty getting anything in there, like whether it's volunteer hours, whether it's materials, like things are drying up. And a lot, I mean, even having parent volunteers has been difficult.
And Chris is the Plainfield Little League
So
president?
Plainfield Little League involves
And
all
it's all-
fields.
okay.
Yeah, so him and I have talked, and, you know, just from one board to the next, there's been shifts in how much help they're getting. I mean, we're seeing it in all the departments that used to have volunteers. It's very difficult to get people to dedicate time, let alone materials, other things, especially with everything going on. You know, people who had the extra money that could put towards something or extra materials, they can't afford to do it anymore. So it's being seen pretty much everywhere at the volunteer level. Those are things they still try to do. They still reach out. They do fundraisers. Chris and Greg have both been trying to get the fundraising back up. Greg was his predecessor. So they've been working hard to try and kind of get it back, but it takes time.
I have a question, maybe more for Lisa than you have, but, the kids pay $60 a piece to do some kind of basketball thing. And it's a couple of times a week and, I don't know, clinic, you know, you could tell me what, but, so my concern is, I understand that you guys are gonna keep your own money, that should like break even, but am I gonna know that, like, you receive $400 from kids and that particular program cost you 400, or
Yes,
is this just
you
gonna be-
you get it now. You already get it as part of your monthly packet that I give you. And so let's say like you service this program revenue and you service this expenses.
Okay.
So yes, it is already in there. And actually.
Look at the basketball.
Yeah, basketball's obviously, maybe Stephanie next year, maybe rec should have their own night, like, police too, especially if we want to look at the other funds. Make sure you can see all the line item funds too. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I
Get rid of that.
I get ready every time I come.
I mean, it's still less than last year, and let's see how much more we can get from the rec services too. So it's the first time we're actually doing it. We don't even have a full year under our belt to know what it's gonna make yet. So we'll know that more in June. It's the first time we're tracking it separately. So we're going in the right direction, we just haven't gotten there yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's been great to work with on that, because it's been a lot of changes. My staff, I changed all the forms, because I now have them reporting weekly. We had credit card reconciliation, I'm like, this doesn't match, so we've had a lot of fun, but it's working now. All right, so we go into the selectmen budget, it's the same thing we discussed earlier. The 6%, that is actually contractual. That is for the assistants. Legal notices went up. And that's pretty much it for that one, salaries. Tax, same thing, mostly salaries, contractual services.
And other selectmen, do they each make the same amount?
Yes, the two
Split right in the
second,
middle?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, split exactly down the middle. Second and third selectmen make the same. And as you see, they went up 9.63% too. Anyone that was elected, to be fair and consistent across the board. Okay, you good to go to tax? Not much in tax either.
Is that a question?
Yeah, that's my name.
It's not for Karen either, this is just more answer. What do other departments things have gone up?
They have it everywhere, because not only do they offer hybrid, but like the meals everywhere cost a lot more. And she does need to recertify every 5 years.
It wasn't a big issue, because I know I'm kind of a lot, but I just noticed they all went up, so
Yes.
what's up with that?
Yes.
All right.
Town clerk, general index went up 5,000. I don't know if you want to say anything to that, or is that contractual? If anyone has any questions on that?
No, that was the last year, and when budget after budget kept failing, we were all asked to make cuts, and I said I would be very, very careful this year, and I said, go ahead and take that 5,000. So that was there last year. That was with a 0 increase last year. So then I went into the negative by taking that out, but I am being very, very conservative this year with my spending, but I do have to buy books and I have to buy that archival paper, so.
Can you explain exactly what general index refers
Yeah.
to, please?
Yeah, that is, so anything that is a permanent record. So your mortgages, your deeds, your vitals, all that kind of stuff, that's also my software. So when you're on the website and you're looking for land record searches, all that kind of stuff, that houses that. That also houses my cash register and all the receipts that I produce to Lisa, everything functions through that. So that, I think I spoke to you guys last year, we're in the middle of we signed a new contract with them and it's going up, I think, a few percent each year for the next 5 years. So I did cut after, I can't remember if it was the second or third budget failure, I think we cut that 5,000 out, the second one. But with that in there, that was a zero increase on my whole budget from the prior year. So I just kind of was trying to help contribute to last year's disaster.
Thank you.
And you will also know, and you guys have seen now, in the revenue that comes in out of her office, it has skyrocketed in the last year. I mean, vitals, I started making new line items too because we had so much in just other revenues that I started breaking that out. So you'll see that from mortgages and stuff. So there's a lot coming through that town clerk's office. Moving on to town contributions, it's flat. Unless you guys want to increase anything, they're all good agencies. Everyone deserves more, so, but right now this is what that's flat. So that is all the operational items. So now we can go to the capital items, unless you guys want to circle back to anything right now. So capital items. So it's separated by what's paid out of the taxpayers as part of the mill rate versus what's come straight out of fund balance. So these are just year over year. Yep.
Access agency, what is that? $500 back on the town contribution.
Access agency, that's usually, isn't that the one in Willimantic that gives help out to people?
It's also in general sense.
I thought that was state funded, I thought that was state self-funded.
Sorry,
It wasn't state funded,
Access agency is a support group that, a company that helps support for social services.
okay, it's not state funded then? I thought that was a state funded program.
They always ask for donations from all towns. Same thing with United Services, trying to help and support the people that need it.
I was just curious because, we just started giving to them in '24.
They asked me last year, we did that, yeah.
Oh, I know, I've worked for them actually.
And I had a comment to make about that one with, in regards to United Services. It's something that I forgot to put back into the budget because there's $3,000 that we can give to them. They do so much for support services, mental health in our town. They have a list of all the things they do for us. So I think it's something important to do with supporting our people in need.
So you're going to amend your budget?
I'd like to. We'll talk about that afterwards.
What's Soldiers and Sailors Fund?
You have a group, an organization, which is which one is this one?
Town contribution.
Oh, the one not funded?
No, I'm looking at, they don't, it's, 20, we paid nothing out for this year.
That's in December. A lot of them were done in January.
20.
Started to come out every month.
Okay.
We do.
It went from 1,400 to 2,546.
I believe that's the one that has the flags. We do donations for flags for different veterans organizations to plants for Memorial Day.
So that's in addition to the 19,000 that we allocated for flags?
I'll tell you. I think you're right, Kelvin. I think those are the flags that you see that get distributed to the American Legion and they go to the cemetery for Memorial Day.
Oh, those the little ones. Okay.
Yep, thank you.
$2,500?
The cost for flags.
I'm sure.
There's a lot of
skyrocketed. Yeah, there's a lot. We do for American Legion Post 91. We do it for AMVET 47. We do it for Post 5446. We want to make sure that those are honored, so we try to get those. And the costs skyrocket. Even for regular flags. Unbelievable. Thank you for that. You want to go on to, well, Project 10, we try to take care of every year. We do this for Memorial Day as well.
Now, what is that Memorial Day?
Oh, I know what it is, I'm sorry, let's flip that up. Memorial Day is the flags, the soldiers and sailors. We have a veteran service officer that we have in the town of Plainfield who covers for anybody who's in need for military.
She was here. Was this the person that was here a couple of meetings ago that you introduced?
Board of Selectmen.
Yes,
Board of
absolutely.
Selectmen,
Yes.
that was who we're talking
She's
about?
new, she's taking her training right now.
Okay.
And what we have is hours of service, which is on Thursdays from 6 to 8 here in that front office. But they also take phone calls, they go out to visit people. And so I have to get a report every month of where they service and who they went to.
So that's like a stipend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been doing that for many, many years.
I don't have an issue with it. We're helping our veterans. I'm golden.
Yes. Those would be 1, 2, 3, 4 items on that.
This capital not funded, most of this is actually state, like most of the state, town road aid is state, building repairs, pretty much kept that flat, the new phone service, municipal aid, that's also state. So a lot of these that are on here are state mandated, that's why I want to take them out of our operational budget, just because it's dictated by the state what they have to go to, so the funding and the expenses. And that's actually part of our single state auditor.
So you're planning to like make a separate?
Yeah, like a town road aid fund, so all the revenue and stuff, so year after year, it gets audited on the state level in addition to. So it just, why are we voting for an expense that we have no control over? It is given to us by the state and it has to be used for the certain requirements of state statute.
And you have to report back on those, I'm assuming?
I'm sorry?
You have to report back
Oh,
on the
absolutely,
usage,
all the
yeah.
time. Yes.
I do have a question in that. So for the town, in roads, are we going to also be working with the highway supervisor to at some point get a list of the roads every year that are going to be addressed?
That's a great question.
This is my pet problem. I heard you loud and clear a few months ago, and so I'm taking this on my own. We have an RFP that's actually due April 14th, so you'll see that as an active bid list right now. And we're meeting with companies, and they are to go over every road, inventory every road. They actually use AI and drive over it. We will have a report of every single road, itemized, and report what we want to do first. Then we'll use our town road aid budget and allocate it towards it. So part of your monthly meetings with me is going to be a road update. So it's going to be really cool.
Great.
I'm very excited for that because that is my asset list will help. I am extremely excited for it.
And to the point of the question, was highway involved in it? Absolutely in the past. And it was, what's the worst one? Now we're going to know exactly what the worst road is and what's going to be prioritized.
Well, I had asked several years in a row to the board finance chair if a list would be provided because this quick story, I was driving down 395 and they came on the radio discussing, I think when you did it, that the state was giving a schedule of all the roads. And I was like, if the state of Connecticut can actually organize enough to give us that, how come the town of Plainfield can't do so?
We're going to have that, because we're going to get itemized and by third-party vendors, so it's not like this person lives on that road, or, there is no interference. This is straight, their report, this is the roads that are bad, this is how much it's going to cost, and it's going to be part of our program. And then this way, we done every 20 years. We don't want to do chip sealing at this point, and we just turn around and we will have a true inventory. It'll be correct on our asset list as well.
Right. Thank you.
Some years you have more roads being done based on what they're doing.
Based on the money from the
Yeah.
state.
We also have money coming in from payment in lieu of. So we have a program right now being done in the back on Sunnybrook. Back there, they're going to start in a couple of weeks, actually next week. Start doing some more work for the water mains. So we're taking payment in lieu of. So that way we can make sure that the person who does the paving over for those areas is done properly, and we can use that money then for other roads.
Are we looking at tax revenue starting to print the new line in the Amazon?
They already have that.
Yeah.
Progress bills and stuff like that.
Were those pilot programs?
No.
No? Okay.
They received
fact, that was one of our first meetings we had with them. They said that we're not going to be asking the state or the town for any breaks.
Capital.
So you have the capital funded by the fund balance on, I'll go through each of the items you have that in the right-hand column in blue. We have a request for a 60-foot boom truck.
All right, let's go into that first.
Sure.
Aren't we in a partnership with a couple other towns where we already own one?
I can tell you the condition of that boom truck is absolutely awful.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about this a couple of years ago, getting our own, because we share with other towns. When they then bring it back to us, it's always in disrepair. Whether it's hydraulic lines, whether it was in an accident, whether it needs to be upgraded with brakes, we always have to wait a couple of weeks just to use it. So I would prefer that we have our own and hire one, because right now you can't get to all the trees. This would be us being able to use it any time of the year to be able to get trees.
So you're looking to purchase your own, the town's own boom truck, 60-foot boom truck?
Absolutely.
For $50,000?
For $50,000?
Yes.
Used?
Yes.
Is it gonna run?
Next question. We'll make sure that when we go to purchase, we'll have a mechanic on site.
And the Christmas tree will come down for
Will it last more than a year?
I just said,
Okay.
we'll have a mechanic who will make sure they review.
I think you're a
before purchase.
little off on that number
Yeah.
for that type of piece of equipment, but
Oh, you know that there's new business coming into town, right?
which one?
The auction house?
Oh, everything that goes through those auctions is always wonderful.
I'll say it again.
A lot of times when things are in the auction for a reason.
You have your opinion, I have mine. Okay, but that's what I looked at. I looked at multiple places we can purchase that, so that was the used value.
Okay.
So okay, I'll go on. Next one up is the bridge assessment, appraisals and inspections. We really haven't done that for a long time. We have 28 bridges, and 11 of them will qualify for federal funding, and the other ones would be a partial funding from the state. So we have to do the analysis on those bridges, and I think this is a great thing, similar to what we have for the road analysis. So we're going to put that out with an RFP, and hopefully do that for next year.
It's really important. There's a lot of safety issues on some of those bridges.
Yep. We're still working on Dow Road Bridge with the state of Connecticut, so. Next one up you would see would be building and grounds truck. If we have a third person, you already saw the third person in the budget. We'll have another person on site for that to be able to drive to. There you have the two outside maintenance people going.
That's what happens.
Find out.
Yeah.
So the issue would be that the two people will be able to go to different places to go take their equipment and mow and trim and all that.
We've already got 2 trucks, right?
One for the supervisor who's here, one for one of the people that are going out on the road.
So you'd have a second for out on the road.
Yep. And it'll be a used.
You're looking at the auction for $20,000?
No. We do, for vehicles like that, we go different. Next one up you see is we were looking to upgrade for the town clerk of the Windows mapping scanner. If you have any input on that, that's great, but the scanner that you're used.
Yeah, so Windows would be probably my first pick because my windows don't open, they're broken. They fall down from the top, they're just, the windows are bad. The scanner, currently the process is, if a map comes in, I think the previous town clerk had purchased a scanner that was down in planning and zoning, so Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was broken, it's not used.
Oh, that one, we replaced 5 years ago.
So, and the clerk didn't contribute to that, so I did not have any,
So you can't use it?
well, no, they do. So I bring my maps down there, they get scanned down there, and then they get put into the system. I'm not supposed to ever let those maps leave my office. Once I record them, they're supposed to stay there and never leave my hands, and this is what we do, this is what we have.
This would save time and also be more in line.
More efficient, and it would, yeah, it would definitely,
Diane, how much are you looking at for a scanner?
I think, what was that for? I think, I had a guy come out a couple years ago, and I think he was roughly 6,000 to 7,000.
And you think you're gonna get windows out of that 10 grand too?
No, I'm thinking it's one or the other here. I prefer, I know it's and or, not both. Yeah, I think it's one or the other. I don't think I'm getting both, but.
Why not? I mean,
If it's just for windows and you put it out to bid, you might find something close to that number.
Good luck. I'll tell you how much, I'll tell you how much I had to pay for replacement windows, only 5 of them.
How many windows do you have? On your side, 3, 4, 3.
My only thing is, how do we do that? How do we give you new windows and the rest of the building and doing all that? Like,
I can put it in the budget for everything.
well, they're gonna look significantly different. That's gonna look ridiculous, isn't it?
Depends.
You can pay to have them look similar.
Can we just get, I'm just concerned about just the environment that you're having to work in. Ceilings coming down, windows that are falling all over the place. This is craziness. I think that if we're looking to spend some good money after good, then perhaps we need to look at getting windows for the town clerk's office, in addition to a scanner for the town clerk's office. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I think it's just ridiculous that you would be sitting in need like that when windows falling down in the wintertime when it's, 10 degrees with the wind chill. Come on.
Well, she shouldn't be running around with the maps.
No.
I mean, that needs to be addressed.
Right.
And yeah, we don't want a window to fall on her
We
house.
have a system for the maps now, it's just who's been making a better system,
Then can you get us?
Diane, be quiet, we're on your side.
Really wanting windows.
Yeah, can you give us an updated quote on just the scanner? And
Yeah, I
I'm
would say
thinking
the
that.
quote that I have is probably a little outdated,
Okay.
but he can give me a refurbished one that,
No.
Okay.
We would like your quote on a new one.
No, get yourself a new one that's gonna last you a couple of
Kind of like
years.
that second hand boom truck. Get us a quote on those kind of brand.
Oh, you don't want that.
No, I don't.
Somebody that knows a guy that.
Yeah, well, I know a guy.
Okay, so we will look into that for you. The next one up is something new, and I think we've talked about this before, capital non-recurring. I'd like to be able to put something in there so we have
There's
access.
seed money for the capital group for future. And then the town will still vote on what those projects are, just decide funding, and
Well-
then we can approve the project.
Wouldn't things like windows fall under that?
Yeah, it could. So it depends.
Yeah, it would depend.
It depends on your timeline. First of all, the CNR capital non-recurring has to be created by the Board of Selectmen. And then once that's created, then you guys would fund it. And then once it's funded, then we go for capital projects that you would have to approve as the Board of Finance and then the town to vote on. But this is seed money to start that project. But yes, windows, all that stuff, anything capital, if you see items here, it doesn't necessarily, maybe for next year, you don't want it to come out for July 1st of next year, put in the CNR and vote on it separately. You absolutely can move the money around that way, but that's your purview.
Are we being premature by putting that in the budget before they've even created the capital rate?
Okay, we talked about this with all the boards. You've heard her say this before about capital. We have the same issue we were talking about on Monday night.
I'm a little concerned about $500,000. That's a lot of seed
It's
money.
whatever amount, it's seed money for you guys to decide, because going to Sean's point, maybe say we only do 2 items here, put everything in the capital non-recurring, and then let the town vote on it one at a time.
So with that, let's just, for argument's sake, because I don't know how we come to a mill rate, if we reduced that CNR for, let's say, to $250,000, would that affect?
Nope, only fund balance.
If you're creating the capital, if you're creating that line item, that's gonna eliminate them coming to us and asking us to take money from the fund balance.
No, because what'll happen in the budget
Year over year, if you look at other towns that have a capital non-recurring, I think this town actually used to have one prior to as well. Every year as part of your budgeted expense, you'll say, I want to give $200,000 towards that fund. And that'll actually be part of the mill rate or fund balance, usually comes out of the mill rate. And that's an expense that you have an allocation that you're going to put in the capital non-recurring fund. It's how much you want to spend on capital programs.
So, for like open space, we had an open space set aside fund.
Yep, that's still there.
So the CNR is going to act similar to that.
Correct, and then we can do capital year round and let the public vote on it one at a time. Instead of us doing it all right now for the whole year, you know, when things come up, it's like, all right, we have this capital non-recurring, we have a capital improvement committee. Let's be a little bit more open about what we're doing, capital lines. Let's get a true plan and put it into place. And this is just allocating the funding instead of waiting year after year to have it.
My concern with that is, so if we have this, and then let's say, so it works in alignment with the capital plan. Nothing outside of the capital plan is going to, that money will be utilized for. It is strictly going to work with the capital plan.
That's it, and it has to be approved by you and by the town.
So how does this get funded?
Just what we were saying, it's going to get funded in the regular operational budget. So instead of having all these items here, what'll happen is say, we're going to give $300,000 towards the capital non-reoccurring. And that'll be part of the budget and line item expense that the town will vote on.
So how is this 500,000 specifically going to be?
That one here, this one that's up top, capital funded by fund balance. That's not affecting the mill rate. Everything that's on this item is affecting that 19.71% fund balance. That has zero to do with the mill rate.
So that'll reduce because we're so high up now?
Exactly. So if you take away, it'll take that 19.71 and move it to 22.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
This, this has nothing to do with the mill rate. This is 100% funded by fund balance.
So this is where this is also going to create kind of like, so for years we always hear the capital is like, you know, the Christmas wish list. So, you know.
We're going to eliminate the wish list.
Used to have savings accounts. My mother used to do this years ago, right? Every month, every week, payday, she'd go put money in this account. It was a Christmas account. So this is going to act sort of like this Christmas account, correct? We're going to put this money in here, and we're going to continue to keep putting money in there.
To fund capital items. In addition, the road aid will go there, and LoSiP will also go in there, and that's actually a state requirement too, that LoSiP plans are approved as part of the capital funding
So
process.
that was more of my point, the library. We could actually start putting money in there for down the road, having a library.
Any capital items that you want, these funds would be allocated for that, and they would all have to be approved, each one. And that way the taxpayers can vote for each individual capital item instead of one just approved list.
So right down below that, the next line item is first floor windows. Would that be Diane's first floor windows?
Tax.
So some of these descriptions are the old descriptions we've had for many years. So that's why it's probably ending up being a mapping. But really, on the list before it was windows, mapping, but these are probably combined. But they're old information from years past.
So what is that? Is $100,000 is not for first floor windows? What is that?
Okay, so it would include
Windows for you? Your windows. But not Diane's.
Diane's for us.
Right.
So how many windows do you have, Karen?